Hey everybody, Craig Cottle, Director of Nature Blind School. Wanted to throw some sheltering ideas to you, whether you want to utilize it for survival or for just a regular camping trip. These are going to be very helpful and I'm glad you're here. Now we've been using tarps of this type. This is AquaQuest. I'll have a link for that in the description. Fantastic tarp. This is 9x9. We're going to be using some paracord and just a hank of rope to make it easier for you all to see what we're doing. That's why I've chosen the color orange, but you can use whatever sort of cordage or tight lines that you want to use. All right, so we're going to cut 4 pieces, about the length of outstretched finger to my bicep, to use today. That's a pretty good starting point. I like to find things like that to help me measure. So if you'll remember from the last video, we had our stump that was left over from making the sourwood mallet. We're going to use that today to cut. Use this as a stump vise. Now, part of the issue with this sometimes, as you're seeing, is that the stump is real soft, so it's pushing it down in there. So that's another way we can use it to cut. And again, we'll cut 4 pieces about the same length. You just want to make sure that this is in the ground good so it doesn't pop up and hit you in the knotty bits. Hey, this first one I'm going to set up, some people call a plow point. I don't care what you call them. Just know that I'm going to tie one corner of the tarp up and I'm going to stake 3 corners down on the outside. This is my favorite one to use when I'm sleeping on the ground. All right, so Tracker, you want to set the tarp up, buddy? So the first thing that I want to talk about is I usually use half hitches on almost all my tarp setups, and the reason I do that is they're easy to tie if you're injured, and they're easy to tie in the dark, which is just a wrap around the loop on the tarp, and then I'm gonna wrap around this around the tree and create 2 half hitches as well. So an easy way to remember where to put the stake is divide the corner in half and let your stake point to where you want it to go. If you put it in line here, it sags on this side. If you put it in line with this side, it'll sag there. So you split that difference. Just an easy, simple way. To remember. And always have your stake angled away from your tarp. And for those that are upset that I keep laying my tomahawk down, I don't care what you think. This is your basic plow point. The beauty of it is that you've got wind protection on this side, wind protection on this side and this side. You can build your fire out front and you're set up. It's a nice setup. All right, so we're going to set up 3 total, including the plow point that we just did. The next 2 are, well, the first one's typically called a Boy Scout, Girl Scout setup or a classic A-frame. And the last one's going to be what I refer to as a lean-to or classic lean-to. The ridge line is the key point here that everything's going to hinge on, basically. So I'm going to tie 2 half hitches over here to our state tree, the tulip poplar, and I'm going to tie 2 half hitches with a wraparound over here on this sourwood that's over here. And basically what I want to help you remember ding dong, we want the rope to be around ding dong height. So that'll help you remember about the height that you want to set this lean-to ridge line up, and it'll help a lot. All right, so one of the things to note about this one, if you want the classic A-frame, then you put the center line of the tarp directly on the ridge line. I prefer a shorter side and a longer side. And there's a lot of things you can do with this. You can put more equipment here as a solo person, and you got plenty of room. You can line people up the length of the tarp here, like feet here and head up here, and got plenty of headroom, and you're still completely covered with your gear. So it's really what you need. If it's a solo, then put the center line and be right in the middle of it. The next one I'm going to do is a classic lean-to. And again, look up prusik knots. We've got a video for that. That's what I'm tying right here. We like to tie prusiks because they allow some really quick and dirty size variation. And depending upon how you want, taut you want it or loose you want it. Sometimes you might want it loose to create a gutter for water. Classic lean-to, 2 points up, prusiks up there, 2 stakes in the back, and super simple setup. I love this setup too. Build a fire out front. If you've got a lot of wind, you don't want it going in this side or this side for cold weather. You do want it going in those sides in warm weather, hot weather, so you can cool off. You can get an extensive more hand room if you take a stick and prop it up in the middle, but to avoid something in the middle of your tarp setup, then you can tie cordage in the center line. We have, on these particular tarps here that we use all the time, they have a loop that you can utilize for that. If you don't have that, then put a rock or an acorn or something in there and tie a clove hitch around it, and then pull it up, tie it off to a branch. Those are some good options for you to create a lot of headroom in this 9x9. This is a huge tarp. You can put 5-6 people in here in a survival situation and still be able to make it somewhat comfortably in an uncomfortable situation. So Tracker's making the next stake. Appreciate you, buddy. he gets in the middle of everything. So yeah, those are 3 setups that we use in our survival level 1 classes that we teach and people use in our level 2 class. They work exceptionally well. And the reason I love these 3 is because they're easy and they're simple. Easy and simple is what you want in a survival situation. Something that's incredibly technical to build and set up, not so much. Under stress, under a dislocated shoulder, broken leg, then you're not going to be doing a whole lot of technical stuff. So with that said, 3 setups that I know you're going to love. Try them out, practice with them, see what you think about them. And as always with Nature Reliance School, come on, join in. Let's learn together.